Hey everyone, this is Jules. Just wanted to share my altered blocks. This is some blocks that I made. Actually, it's a Wild Orchid Crafts project. It's one of my last projects for them, as the design team, the old design team, is now retiring. This is supposed to be like my fall themed kind of thing. As you can see, there's a lot of earth tones and a lot of green and creams, whites, blacks. We were supposed to create a project that is fall inspired. So this is my fall inspired project for the month of September. So I painted the blocks first, and then I did the masking of Chrissy Tomlinson's doily, and I did some mixed media. This is some chipboard chicken wire, and there's cheesecloth under there. That texture there is all cheesecloth. And some drywall repair tape that is this little bits right here. And some masking on top, some more of the tape there. Some fiber paste with some script masking, some hymnal paper, and I just added some paint to it and distressed it. And I like how this came out. I added some green paint, some brown paint to kind of make it look a little grungy. All these are Wild Orchid Crafts flowers, from their 20mm roses to their 8mm roses to their cherry blossoms, gardenias. I have the product list over on my blog, and you guys can take a peek. I use a lot of cheesecloth that I have in my stash, and there's silk ribbon, a Filigree Flower, so there's some metals there, some Tim Holtz metals, and some Maya Road chipboard pieces. These are hearts. I don't know how well you can see that, but there's a heart there, and the outside frame of one back there that's crackled accented. This is a cork. Back here is a cork and a screw. You might be able to see that there. The head of a stick pin from Wild Orchid Crafts. Their leaves and a couple of their new little rosebuds. I can't remember the name of these. It's the Tuscany rosebuds. These are cool. So I added a couple of those here, and just cut out from the paper collection Special Memories a Scrabble tile piece with the letter M on it, and a tiny clothespin, and some changes dangling off the edge there. Actually, I had it glued up there, but it came off. I might just let it dangle. A little bouquet with some seam binding, some cream seam binding, some of their crocheted lace. I just tore the paper and it's just peeking through in little areas. Some craft or some cardstock. Just do a paper punch there. So I want it to kind of look like a little gift wrap kind of a thing. The back has some stamping, and it's grungy and has some of the handle paper, has some of my doodling on the edges there. So that's for that one. On the A, I put some words on dimensional that came from the same paper, and just so that it can stick out like it's doing there. Some dripping of some sprays from Lindy Stamp Gang and Glimmer Mist, cheesecloth, banners, another Maya Road confetti heart. Here it is here. Those are fun. I just made it look like a kind of a leathery kind of a look to it. Some more chicken wire and some drywall repair tape. And this is a chipboard piece from Blue Fern Studios. And just added a lot of the green and brown paint again, just to make it grungy. Some more masking. I did a lot of the masking very much the same. Masking there. Stenciling and the tape. The doily with the hymnal paper back there. Some tape. Another, I can't remember what those are called. Manor hinges package. So that's what this is, and this piece back there. And I just used some Melissa Francis frames, and I framed one of Wild Orchid Crafts' little lace, and just kind of sticking out down at the bottom there, the little clothespin, a Tim Holtz, I can't remember what these are called, word tags or a little sentiment tag. They're ribbon, silk ribbon, a little rose, a gear from Tim Holtz, a little rose, and this little bit of cardstock sticking out from the sides there, and the peekaboo of the lace again here. And it just has that grungy look to it. So I used the paints there to do that. So it's basically kind of has the same look. Just a couple of the flowers, and this little white flower right there is from that same lace that I just cut out from the center and stuck it down underneath one of the roses there. Cheesecloth and a gardenia. And I'm, again, with the Live Simply and Memories is on dimensional stickers, so it's kind of sticking up there. Some more chicken wire chipboard cheesecloth there. Masking tape, masking the doily again, to make it look grungy with some paints and stuff. The back doesn't have anything except for the paper, a little bit of stamping, and some hymnal paper. And on the L, did the same thing. Kind of, some of the words are stuck straight flat down, and some of the ones are on dimensional stickers. So this says together is our favorite place to be, which means family. Together is our favorite place to be. A couple of little roses, rose cluster there. Some of the lace peekabooing, 2 spots actually down there too, and then the cardstock. A clock face with some gesso and a moving bird from the collection. Has a little bit of green paint on there. A rose and a cherry blossom, a little bit of the ribbon. The masking, the doily. All this is from fiber paste. I use fiber paste. Excuse my dogs being gnawed. More chicken wire and another hinge there, hinge piece. And the last piece is my favorite, I think, or one of my favorites, I guess. So cherry blossom and the word love, and there's the little peekaboo lace in that distressed opening there. Some bead sprays, a chipboard heart from Maya Road that I just inked and added some crackle accents to it, and a little rose, a Tuscany rose. And this is just a piece of the lace that I cut. It looks like a crown actually. It's the very bottom piece of that lace, and just drippings again of some Lindy stamp gang and stuff. A metal corner. I did use a metal corner for this one too, for the F down at the bottom here, and kind of finished it off with the Y up here. Masking a beautiful bouquet with some of their seam binding that I wrinkled up. Some roses there. Some of their cute little curly cues, some beads, and a Maya Road stick pin. Cheesecloth again that I didn't added some stuff to dingy it up, some sprays and stuff. In a Tim Holtz doorknob that I glued to the side and added some Tim Holtz chain. This is that dog tag chain. And I added some charms at the end here. So one of these is the little frame, and I have a word tag, says Destiny on it. It has a really cool look to it. I don't know how well you can see that. A clock from Waldock Crafts. They don't have those anymore, but they do have the little butterfly, and I added some more distress gesso and crackle accents and paints and more gesso, and just kind of caked it on. So it has this really cool look to it. So that's all dangling with some of their connectors here that I dingied up too. They still have these connectors there, but I love this little end piece here. Dingied up, stamped back there. The mask, I used the mask there, and chicken wire and some of the repair tape, wall repair tape there on the side. So that is my project, and if you're interested in watching the video, I will be showing that in just a couple of minutes. But if you also want to see some detailed pictures, it's over on my blog. Alright you guys, thanks so much for watching, and I don't know if I mentioned it, but this is for a good friend of mine, and I'm not going to say who because I want her to be surprised, and I'll show something else that I made for her soon. Alright you guys, have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Here's a tutorial. Jule sending out of the Jule box for Wild Orchid Crafts. Bye everyone. Here I'm going to start with some, I believe this is pine from Craft Warehouse, and some gesso. What I'm going to do first is just prime my wood, and I'm going to do each and every side, the top and underneath of every block. Then I ended up doing one coat of vintage white acrylic paint, and then I'm going to trace out all the sizes of the blocks, just the front and the back, using Simple Stories. This collection is called Documented. So I'm just going to cut out all the pieces for all 6 blocks. Once I have them all cut out, I do distress front and back and decide which one I want for the F, the A, the M, the I, the L, the Y, and for the back sides. Now this is the vinyl lettering that I got from Craft Warehouse, and I just cut apart the word family to separate it so that I can use them on my blocks. No, they're just like rub-ons for me when I use them. So I am just going to put it on some ivory cardstock and using my bone folder, pressing it down really good and lifting very slowly. This is sped it up, so understand that I'm not ripping it off. I am doing it really slow because once you peel it off, you can mess it up because you'll end up stretching it. So you want to make sure that you press really, really well on the lettering. So I'm going to do that for each letter. And then what I do is I wanted to make these pop, and I don't want the black letters to get lost in the paper collection because it's so dark. So I end up cutting all the way around the letters, and I leave a border so that it has a frame and it pops better off of the page or off of the paper. So I'm going to cut and leave a border for each letter. And there we are. I'm going to leave the L and the Y. I'm not going to cut the hoops out or the little holes out. And then I end up using my craft knife to just distress all the edges of the sheets of the paper there. And then I'm going to ink it. And that kind of helps, again, with adding a little bit of a border with color. Kind of hard to get into those little nooks right there, little nooks and crannies, but you just do the best that you can. And there they are, using walnut stain distress ink, and I'm going to do all of my sheets of paper after I've distressed them. I'm going to ink them up, kind of get some of the ink on the paper itself too. I want to give a dark kind of a border around all the pages. And what I end up doing is I get an emery board. I don't know what grit it is, but I end up taking off the paint off all of the edges. That way I can ink it later and it'll stain it better. Then using some vintage hymnal paper that I got from Miss Katie Blue on Etsy. I get all of my vintage paper from her. I'm just going to randomly just put them all over the edges of all the blocks. The 3 sides. So it'll be the top and then the 2 sides. I put nothing on the bottom or underneath it except cardstock at the end of everything. And I don't think that I even show that, but there is cardstock underneath it. Some of the masks that I'm contemplating using for this project. I ended up just using that doily, which is a Christy Tomlinson design doily, and then I use a small, I guess it's just the poem or little script, I can't remember what it's called, from Crafter's Workshop. But I have a product list over on my blog of all the stuff that I use from Wild Orchid Crafts, and you can peek over there and click on the links to get to the exact product. And I'll have an other products list, just other little additional things that I used here. So I'm just kind of alternating. I'm doing the tops of 3 of them, and then I go on to the sides of some other ones and stuff. Here I'm just going to do the masking for that poem. And I end up doing just some random masking, stenciling, and on one of them I know I go in the other direction, so just to make it a little bit different. So it's primed with gesso, then painted, and then hymnal paper, and now masking. Using fiber paste on all of these. Now I'm just going to add some of the walnut stain ink on the edges all over, and that'll just help stain the wood that I've exposed. So this is the end of part 1 of this video. Please click on the link below for part 2. Thanks.